Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Breakazoid's Den. So, today is Wednesday. The latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett came out today, and well, man, if you've seen the episode, you know it is a all Mandalorian episode following the Mandalorian from his own TV show. And a lot of people really love this episode. Really love this episode. And I do not. And that's what I'm here to talk about. I hate to do a negative video, but I've been thinking about this like all day, and I need to get it out there somehow. And this is my way to do it. I wrote very little notes for this, so this is probably going to be me just going nuts and not ranting. I'm not going to really rant, but, well, maybe I will. My thoughts aren't completely organized, and I'm not going to really take a lot of time to do so, because I feel like if you have something on your mind, you got to say it. So that's what I'll be doing here in this video. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to get into more detail later as we go through the video, but I don't know how long this is going to be, so we'll have to see. Anyways. So let me just kind of start with my overall thoughts about the episode, maybe go through the episode a little bit. So I said that people love this episode, and I completely okay with that. I absolutely respect that. And to be honest with you, the episode itself as a whole, following Mando through this journey, was incredible. Really well directed, really cool shots, really cool scenes, some great things that happen in this episode. But I just don't feel like it belongs in the Book of Boba Fett. And again, I'm gonna get into way deeper detail when we go through the video. But I just want to get some opening remarks, opening thoughts here out to you all before we get into the details. So it doesn't push the Book of Boba Fett story at all, really. To me, it didn't really did. I mean, you got Din Djarin coming in to help Boba. That's about all we got. It pushes the Mando story, which again, of course, it was a really great push for the Mando story. Gave us purpose for season 3. You know, maybe he'll go and try and cleanse himself taking off his helmet in season 2, of course. But why couldn't that have been reserved for his own show? Like, that could have been a beautiful season 3 episode 1 opening episode. And if they were just trying to stick to the 8, maybe they could do a few more episodes, you know? It sounds like the next episode of Book of Boba might be another Mando story where we kind of look for Grogu. So, man, it doesn't belong in Book of Boba to me. I think it would be a perfect start to Mando season 3. And again, I'll get into more detail later, but yeah, I don't know. I love this episode for Mando. Absolutely great for Mando. Incredible episode. You know, with the whole, the armor and Paz Vizsla rebuilding the Mandalorian clan on that, ring, that giant city ring, which was a really cool setting for Star Wars. Although I didn't really catch if there was a name for that. Just the whole episode in general, it brought some incredible fight scenes, brought the old Mando fight scenes back, which a lot of the Mando fight scenes are really, really great. And I haven't been too crazy about the Boba fight scenes. I think that they maybe could have done a little bit more. Like this fight scene, I'm specifically talking about the one in the beginning. The opening for this episode was nuts. You had Din with the darksaber cutting through a guy, cutting someone in half. Boba wouldn't even think to do that, judging by how he's been acting in this show before. I mean, that whole Black Chrysanthemum fight in episode 3, I believe it was. I enjoyed it, but if they had the same style of fight scenes, I guess, as they do for Mando for that Boba fight, I think it could be way better. It could have been so much cooler if they had that kind of I don't know, just darker style maybe is the best way to describe it. I don't know. It's just a little bit more. They're able to do a little bit more. I don't know exactly why they didn't want to try and keep that same style with Boba, but if they weren't to keep the same style, they should have made it more darker, I guess, or more beating people up and stuff like that instead of dumbing it down a little bit. I don't know. That's all stuff for another time. But again, great fight scenes were brought into this episode, as well as the episode itself. As I was starting to say, the armor of Paz Vizsla rebuilding the Mandalorian clan, than the Paz Vizsla fighting Mando for the Darksaber, because he believes he has ancestral right to it, which is, I'd say, is a pretty fair reason. I really liked that fight. That fight was good. But Din needs a lot of work with his Darksaber action. So, and then also the whole second half of the episode where they're rebuilding that Naboo starfighter, which was super duper cool. Really cool really cool whole part of the episode with Pelly, I think her name was. But yeah, no, again, incredible Mando story. Really was. It was a really great episode for Mando. I think it could have been a perfect season 3 premiere. That would really get us all going for the episode. But I don't know. I guess not. But yeah, I think those are my opening thoughts, my beginning thoughts before we get into some of like the more specific stuff. So we'll get going with that now. All right. So I'm gonna start with I don't know, the part 1, I guess, and that is the context or the content of the episode here, or not the content of the episode, the reason. I don't know how you would describe it. The reason why I'm not crazy. I don't know. I don't know how you describe it, but you describe it some way. So, of course, as we already talked about the episode, great Mando stuff, incredible Mando stuff, some of the best Mando stuff, I'd even say. And The Mandalorian is a great show. It brought us I'd say arguably one of the greatest Star Wars scenes of all time when Luke fights off the Dark Troopers and then comes in to take Grogu. Yeah, again. So to start off with my reasoning for why I think it just didn't really do it right. This show is called The Book of Boba Fett. It's not called Mandalorian. And I remember I was talking to my friends about the previous episode 4, when they kind of teased, like, oh, maybe the Mandalorian, Din Djarin will be coming into the next episode, as in this week's episode. So this was a conversation last week. And I remember literally saying, I hope, if they bring Mando into the show, I'm a little worried he might kind of, like, steal some of the light here, because, of course, Mando is I'd say, a beloved character, and I absolutely love him as well. I'm just worried that maybe he might be kind of stealing the light from Boba, Boba in his own show. And I can sadly say this is maybe a little bit worse than I thought, where he took an entire episode, and potentially more, as I previously had said, where they kind of did that little hint at the end of the episode where Mando was saying he has to go and look or pay a visit to a little friend or something like that. I don't know what he said. Of course, that's most likely insinuating that he's going to go and see Grogu. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully we don't. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't. Episode 6 isn't that. I'm really hoping, because I want Boba stuff, not Mando stuff. Save it for Mando season 3, please. Yeah. So that was a part of it, and then it just feels like Boba wasn't even in this episode. He was mentioned like once, I think. They were just like, hey, Boba Fett needs some muscle on his team. Here, have some credits. And then Mando was like, no, I'll do it for free. Boba wasn't even in an episode of his own show. This, I feel, God, man. That's so, why? I don't know, I'm just trying to think of the words to explain this here. Like, it's just so weird to me. I feel like he should have at least gotten a cameo. I don't know. He should have been in the whole episode, to be fair. And I'm going to get into another section where I kind of talk about my ideas for what I think they should have done for the season. But of course, I'm not at all a writer or anything like that for the show. But I'm just saying, just kind of like spitballing some ideas for what I think that they maybe, what I would prefer to see done. But that doesn't mean it's right at all. It could be completely not good. But whatever. I just my opinion. Again, it just, Boba was not in the show this entire episode. What? Why? Anyways, moving on to that. So some people are saying this is the best episode of the series. Gotta be honest with you, I'm not really disagreeing. I might like episode 2 a little bit better. Because again, I wanted to reiterate, I love this episode for Mando. Love it. It was incredible. But For Book of Boba, I don't think it belongs here. I think it needs to go to its own show. It should have been in its own show, personally. But some people, so when some people say that, this is the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett so far, I'm not surprised. This is a really great episode. And it's just really disappointing and sad that an episode that Boba, who's supposed to be intended to be the main character of this show, didn't even appear. Like he wasn't even in this episode. And people was there like, hey, best episode yet. And again, I cannot argue with them. It was an extremely great episode. Again, I'm more big into episode 2. I really liked the Tusken Raider stuff, and the whole hover train kind of Western feel deal. Which I know this show takes a lot of like the Western, not tropes, but yeah, I think you understand what I'm saying. Like a lot of Western influence, but I love it. I love to see it with Star Wars. But yeah, so an episode that Boba isn't even in ends up being the best episode of the season. That's really disappointing. Really disappointing. Let me see here. I also want to mention really quick, I believe this is the second longest episode of Book of Boba so far, which is also really weird. Like, the second longest, the first longest episode, I believe, was episode 2, which again is, I believe, so far is my favorite episode. Coming in at 52 minutes, I believe it was, including credits. I'm just, And then this one was 51, I think, including credits. So, yeah. An episode, again, that Boba isn't even in, ends up being the longest that we get to spend time in this show. Or second longest time we get to spend in this show at one time. Again, Boba's not even in it. On top of that, a common Mando season, a regular Mandalorian season, as we all know, so far has been 8 episodes per season. Book of Boba Fett has 7. So that's -1 already. -1 episode of Boba already. We're down to 7. And then I would even say minus another one. We're down to 6, because this episode was not about Boba at all, in the slightest. This was about Mando. It was even called The Return of the Mandalorian. And hey, again, if that was the season 3 episode, or season 3 premiere called The Return of the Mandalorian, I'd be pumped. I'd be going nuts. That'd be insane. But when it's in a show called The Book of Boba Fett, not The Mandalorian, doesn't really, sit with me too great, I guess. So far through the season, we're 5 episodes in. I'd say we only have about 6 episodes that I could even call a Book of Boba Fett episode. Because this is a Mandalorian episode. This wasn't a Book of Boba Fett episode. And if the hints may lead us to the next week's episode of the Book of Boba Fett being a Mando hunts or looks for Grogu episode, I'm going to subtract 1 again. That's going to be 5 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, because there's no way they would do the finale like that. There's absolutely no way. They wouldn't do that. That's like completely out of the realm of possibilities. There's no way. There's absolutely no way they would do like a Mandalorian story for the finale of the Book of Boba Fett. They would never do that. So maybe by the end of this season, I mean, I'm still trying to have high hopes that maybe next episode is not a Grogu searching for Grogu episode, which again, would love to see it, but it doesn't. It should be in Mando. It should be a story in Mandalorian. Maybe you can even make the season even longer than it usually is. But so again, getting my hopes up that it's just going to be 6 episodes for Book of Boba, basically. Hopefully not. Well, hopefully it doesn't go down to 5. Really hoping. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Let me see. Again, not a single scene of Boba in the show. Yeah, I kind of, I'm looking through my very quick notes here. It's weird because it's supposed to be like Boba's background information, a post Sarlacc pit moment, and not more Mando. It's just, I don't know. I think you kind of get where I stand with this episode. Again, I want to keep reiterating because I don't want people to get the impression that I hate this episode. I hate Mando, whatever. Because I know a lot of things like that can probably happen. Love Mando. Love this episode, but not it shouldn't have been a Book of Boba episode. It should have been replaced by something else. I don't know. And I have ideas for what it could have been replaced by, but again, my ideas are just my opinion, so. Now, on to my next kind of section, I guess you could say, and that is the idea. I'm gonna try and title them like Mando episodes. So if you see like little title cards pop up with like kind of like the next section of the video here, it's probably because I want to do like a little Mando or Book of Boba kind of cards like that. Anyways, that's just me having fun in editing. But yes, some ideas for episodes that they should have done. I personally think like this is how the season should have went. The rest of the season should have went, I should say. But before I get into the actual Book of Boba Fett season, Mando Season 3, Episode 1 should have been the entirety of this episode, Book of Boba Fett Episode 5, to start the series, and maybe, like I said, if... I know they're filming Season 3 of Mando right now, currently, so let's say they filmed 8 episodes of that season, of Season 3, which I don't know if that'll be the final season, I wonder, I'm curious. I don't know how long, like, his story will go for, Mando's. We'll have to see. But anyways, let's say they filmed 8 episodes, then you can, like, add 2. You know what I mean? Like, you could add this episode, and you could end up having a 10-episode season. That's, like, a big celebration. Like, this is Mando Season 3. This is 3 years of The Mandalorian. That's pretty crazy. Probably a little longer, because because Book of Boba ends up taking Mando's spot on the list here. But, maybe, yeah, you could, like, add this as, like, episode 1, and then you could have 9 episodes. Then if the next week's episode, episode 6, ends up being another Mando episode, you could have just thrown that in for episode 2. I don't know. Alright, anyways, let me get into the Book of Boba stuff here. So, my idea for episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett, again, you can completely disagree with this episode idea. That is completely alright with me. But this is just my idea, this is my opinion, this is just my thoughts that I kind of maybe wish they went this direction, but of course that's just because I came up with it. Anyways, my idea is when the whole conversation, Boba and Fennec are like, hey, how much money do we got? And he's like, oh, we got loads, and he's like, well, we gotta go buy some muscle. I was not expecting, I shouldn't say that. I was hoping that it would be an episode where Boba and Fennec travel off-world, so we can kind of get away from the Tatooine scene for a little bit, and they travel to some planet, I don't know, again, these are just very quick notes, to like a bar that Fennec knows, or some sort of like bounty hunter hangout spot, and Boba and Fennec slowly kind of go through the bar and get information from like smaller bounty hunters on like the notoriety list. Like maybe we'll kind of see what is some random bounty hunter, like I don't know, I can't think of a random bounty hunter off the top of my head that's not very notable currently. Maybe I don't know, I'm gonna move on, but they slowly kind of work up their way. Like you see a lot of bounty hunters, maybe you see, I'm going to forget his name, and I'm probably going to get flamed for this in the comments, because I do love this character, but I don't remember his name, because I haven't watched Clone Wars in a while. The guy with the hat, I feel like his name starts with an H, and I don't remember his name completely, but like he can throw his hat. I love that guy. That guy's so cool. Maybe you can see him in live action. That would be pretty awesome. That would be pretty cool. You cannot deny. That would be pretty cool to see him. Again, I don't remember his name, but... and they kind of slowly get information, you know, and then eventually we get to some, like, the notable characters. And I believe these characters will still show up in this show, but I just feel like this could have been a cool way to introduce these characters to this universe. Or to this show, I should say, not universe. You could get Bosk in here, you know, Dengar, maybe? I don't know. I don't know if they're alive or not at this point, but... all, you know, like some of the classic members of the Empire Strikes Back, or... bounty hunter like lineup group. You know, Boba's already there. You get Bosk, IG-88. You know what I mean? Like those guys. Bring some of them in there, and then I feel like the big reveal, the big live action reveal, would be Cad Bane. And I believe Cad Bane may show up in this show. Again, that's not confirmed or anything. I just believe. I just feel that like he's probably going to show up in this series. So the big reveal would be like, Cad Bane's here. Cad Bane's in this bar, and he's going to join our group. You know what I mean? And that's like towards the end of the episode, kind of. But then at the end of the episode, we get that scene with Fennec and Mando talking about, like, hey, why don't we team up? We need some muscle, maybe some more muscle. We got a bunch of these bounty hunters. Maybe Boba needs some help keeping all these guys in check, because who knows what they could do. And we got like a huge Wookiee and everything like that, so we could really use some help taking down the Pikes and everything like that. And you basically get this scene in Peli's hangar, and then you're going to be left wondering, man, I wonder why is Mando here? Where did he go? What happened to his Beskar spear? All these different questions. And then Mando Season 3 comes out on December 2023. I don't know when it's coming out. I'm just making this up. And then you get all those answers, and you're watching the episode of Mando Season 3, which would have been Book of Boba Fett Episode 5, and you're like, oh man, this is a really cool story. This is a really cool episode. I'd love to see all this. And then it's revealed that, oh, this is what Mando was doing. That's so cool. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's kind of how I wanted it to go, I guess. And then I also put down here some ideas for Episode 6 and Episode 7, because at this point I might as well just finish off the season, right? So for Episode 6, I was kind of thinking this is like a preparation episode. This is where everybody gets ready to take on the Pikes. Everybody kind of comes together. You got all your bounty hunters in one room. You got Mando, you got Boba, you got Fennec, you got Chrysanthemum, the Gamorrean boys, the Gamorrean guards, and you got maybe the mod kids or teenagers, whatever. I don't want them to be there, but I'm not a crazy fan as most people. I don't think a lot of people are fans of them either, but maybe you get them in there just because they were in Episode 3 for like the whole episode, and then now they haven't been talked about for 2 more. Anyways, and you just kind of get everybody that Boba's been like grouped up with, I guess, for the show, and Boba basically builds like his whole army of bounty hunters, his all those people, and I'm thinking before like a precursor, this penultimate moment, Boba heads over to the Pikes, I don't know, what do you call it, like facility maybe, like wherever they're stationed, and Boba sits down, and he's going to try and go the diplomatic way. He's going to try and just talk to him, like, listen, get out of my territory, literally get out of here, you don't belong here, you're not welcome here, because you are a terrible crime syndicate, and you're not taking this away from me. That kind of stuff. Just trying to tell him, like, hey, get out of here. And then we kind of get more information on the Pikes, because I feel like they haven't really been explored too much in this show to give me a valid reason why they showed up again. You know, like, what was like the big thing? Did they hear that Boba was ruling Tatooine now, and they want to try and take a shot at him to hopefully take Tatooine for themselves? I don't know. We'll probably get that answer, but I just, this is just me trying to fill that information in. So we get the information on the Pikes and why they have returned. Boba tries to strike a deal, like, hey, if you get out of here, we'll give you free passage through Tatooine. I don't know. I don't know what the deal could be, but which doesn't work. And then Boba's like, all right, you chose this, guys, and then he just leaves, and maybe there's like a fight scene between him and the Pikes while he's leaving, because they want to try and take out the big guy. But then that gives us not only a great fight scene for the Book of Boba Fett, with Boba at the center of the fight scene, which he hasn't really done a lot of fighting this season, or this show, and I had another point, but I completely blanked on it, so I apologize for that one. And then I also kind of threw down here, maybe on the other side, on the other storyline, Mando and Fennec kind of work together to try and calm some of the bounty hunters down. So maybe they just have some history, some beef in the past. Maybe Cad Bane once knocked over Black Chrysanthemum's drink one day, and now Black Chrysanthemum's all mad about it, and then Bosk is mad because Cad Bane jammed his gun. You know what I mean? Just like kind of very small side plot. But I think it could be kind of fun just to kind of see these bounty hunters interact with each other, Next, we have Episode 7. This would be the final episode. I wrote on here that hopefully it will be over an hour, because none of these episodes so far, no episode, I think, of Mando or Boba has been over an hour, which is a shame, but whatever. And this is just full-blown war. This is just the Pike Syndicate is here. They have an army themselves, and they're all over Mos Espa. And this Pike Syndicate has been scaring all the locals to kind of stay in their houses, keep them away. So that kind of explains why the public is not really a part of this fight. They're out of here. They're in their houses. They're barricading. They're like, oh man, the Pikes mean some business. And then Boba and his army come in. He rides the Rancor. You know what I mean? Leading this army of bounty hunters, of mod people, I guess. Fennec by his side, Mando by his side, and then of course him riding on the Rancor, like I said, the Gamorreans, backing him up too, and we just get all these cool shots, all these different scenes of all these bounty hunters, of Boba, of Mando, of Fennec, of the Gamorrean guards, all taking down Pikes left and right, kind of going through the city and being like, oh, there's a Pike, okay, and like maybe they could do some like fun, silly stuff where maybe I don't know, let's say Dengar is here and he's trying to compete with Cad Bane to see who can get as many shots on the Pikes or something like that. I don't know, just like bounty hunter, what would you call it, like teasing, I don't know what you would call it, but banter, like bounty hunter banter basically. And they're all just this whole army just taking out all the Pikes, and then Boba goes head to head with the Pike Syndicate leader. And then I also kind of put down here, because I feel like this is going to come back up in the actual show itself. This is just where I had to kind of throw it, because I actually forgot about this, that this even happened. I'm pretty sure the Tusken Raider woman, who was who trained Boba with the gaffy stick, there's no way she's dead. No way she's dead. We didn't see her body, and I feel like if she did die, we would actually see it. So I'm pretty sure she's still alive. I also put down here that that Tusken kid, I don't know if they just didn't want to show it because it was a kid who may have gotten killed by the speed racer gang, whatever they're called. Nikto speed bike racers, I don't know what they're called. And I put him down as like he survived too. Like the Tusken Raider woman helped him to escape, but the chief got shot, obviously, or killed, obviously. So I'm saying, what if the Tusken Raider woman and the Tusken kid are imprisoned by the Pikes somehow, some way, because maybe they want to try and get back. I don't know. I don't know how it would work, but that's just my idea. Like that's how you bring them back into this, because I want to see them again. That Tusken Raider woman was incredible. Her fight scenes were really cool on the hover train, and her training with the gaffy stick was just super duper nice. As well as the Tusken kid. Originally I thought he was a brat, but he ended up being a pretty cool kid, and he helped to take down the hover train and everything like that, or whatever you want to call it, the Pike Syndicate train, whatever, the Tatooine train, I guess. And then by the end of the episode, this is the end of the finale, Boba finally gains respect from the people of Mos Espa for saving them from the Pike Syndicate and actually being a ruthless and a not feared, but I feel like a ruthless and strong leader, but also having the respect instead of fear, which is what Boba wants, with maybe a little bit of fear mixed in, because he just took down the entire Pike Syndicate that's invading Tatooine. So yeah, I don't know. That's my idea for that stuff. So now I'm gonna move on to the next part. So now I just kind of want to do some closing remarks on this section, kind of, I guess you could say. So I am a little worried about where the show, The Book of Boba Fett, is going. Again, as you already heard, not too crazy about the idea of having Mando go after Grogu in the next episode of The Book of Boba Fett. Save it for The Mandalorian Season 3, please. But whatever, I digress. Now, this show overall, so episodes 1 through 5 so far, hasn't been my favorite Star Wars show or Star Wars piece of content. Mando definitely is better than the Book of Boba Fett, but I feel like Boba could have been better, maybe. I don't know exactly how, but I just feel like it could have been. I'm not very worried or losing faith that Jon Favreau is not going to write Mandalorian season 3 or anything like that poorly, or Mando season 3 is going to be bad. I think that season's going to be awesome. We're going to get some Bo-Katan probably, some Darksaber stuff. Like, that stuff's going to be so cool to see. And this episode proves it. This episode, written beautifully, really well done directing, like, awesome action scenes, like I already said previously, and it continues the Mando story. So, we know, or I know, they got it. They can do Mando stuff. But Boba, they just haven't been hitting it, really. They haven't been hitting the nail on the head with Boba in his own show. And that's kind of a shame. It's kind of a shame. I'm going through my list here. Okay. And I also kind of wanted to throw this one in here as well. I recently just added this in between filming clips here. If this season maybe, like, if they did shows, now I feel like this is asking a lot, but if they did seasons of TV shows now where they have like 26 episodes like they used to, or 22 episodes, a whole season would be weeks and weeks and weeks of content, months even. And if they did that with Book of Boba, and they had this like little Mando side story arc plot line for 2 to 3 episodes, that's fine. That's 26 episodes. I'm just saying that as a regular like estimate, benchmark, whatever. 26 episodes is a lot. 20 episodes is a lot. 15 episodes is a lot. So if they kind of had that, like, if they had 12 episodes of Boba and 3 episodes of Mando, I'd say that's pretty alright. But when it comes to a show that only has 7 episodes, some of them not even hitting the 40-minute mark. I don't know. I don't really like that part of it there, I guess. I don't know. And then it just it feels like Boba wasn't given enough stuff to do in his own show. Where they're having to like resort to like, oh man, we kind of wrapped up this Boba story. Well, what are we gonna do now? Oh, we can do Mando. Yeah, why don't we do that? Because, we don't really have any more Boba to talk about. So they end up just doing an episode of Mando, and then maybe even a second episode of Mando. Depends on what next week's episode is going to be. And again, they already hinted, like, hey, I gotta go take a look at Grogu, see how he's doing. And I hope that's not next episode, as I keep saying, but whatever. It'll probably be a really great episode. It will probably be an incredible episode to see Mando and Grogu reunite, see Luke. I heard some rumors that potentially Han Solo will be in that episode, or will be in this show somewhere. That would be awesome. That would be so cool, and I cannot wait for that. But it shouldn't be in Book of Boba. It should be in Mando season 3. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about for the whole episode, which we watched today, season 2, Book of Boba, episode 5. I'm like losing my train of thought here as I'm talking. So now I want to move in to another section about the Lego. This is still relating to the same idea. Why is Mando in everything, I guess. But now we're talking about the Lego stuff. So, to start off, there was recent news, very recent news, that the Book of Boba Fett, or not Book of Boba Fett, Boba Fett Palace was going to be based off of Mandalorian Season 2. That, 3-4 minute end credit scene. Why? That to me is the worst idea ever. You take a 3 to 4 minute end credit scene of Boba killing Bib Fortuna and then sitting on the throne, when you could have taken, I don't know, what are these 5 episodes, or these 4 episodes equal up to so far, maybe 3.5-ish hours, because they didn't really all reach an hour long, and you decide to take, you have this 3.5 hour, 4 hour content. Maybe it's just because Disney hasn't revealed that stuff to them yet, hey, there is a show, so maybe it is kind of warranted, but I feel like they would have maybe at least known that the Book of Boba Fett is a show that's going to exist, and maybe it's just business stuff that I don't understand. Probably it is, But why not just wait till Book of Boba? Like, why wait? Why not wait to release a Boba Fett Palace or Jabba the Hutt Palace when we're gonna get a show called the Book of Boba Fett, where we already saw a Mandalorian end credit scene that shows that Boba is gonna be in a palace. I don't know. I feel like I explained that really poorly because my mind's just kind of all over the place. But you have like I said, 3.5-ish, 3 hour and 45 minute pieces of time of content to do a Book of Boba Fett based Boba Fett Palace, I guess. And they decided to go with a 3 to 4 minute end credit scene. I don't know. I think it's kind of wild. And of course, this information was basically confirmed, I generally say, by the minifigures who are going to be in this set, which ends up being Boba Fett, Fennec Shand. Of course, great start. Fennec Shand apparently is going to have her braided hair look instead of her helmet, which I love. Would love to get a new Fennec Shand figure. Love it, love it, love it. We're going to get a Gamorrean guard. And I have a problem with that too. They don't even give us 2 Gamorrean guards. They don't even give us the satisfaction of having the Gamorrean boys. That's so sad. That's so sad. The Gamorrean guard boys. We need Boba's posse of Gamorrean guards, the 2 of them. Ugh, and they only give us 1. They only give us 1. They can't even give us 2. Why? You know what? I'm saying it now. If they gave us 2, it would have been this all would have been excused. No, I'm kidding. But come on. You couldn't even give us 2 Gamorrean guards just to have Boba hanging out. Like I would display him like that. I would display it like with Boba in the middle, Fennec on the side, and then the 2 Gamorrean guards in the back, hanging out with their weapons, with their like sword things, right behind Boba. Oh man, that would have been so cool. And then you got Bib Fortuna, of course. That was basically like the kicker there. That was like, oh man, this is not gonna be Book of Boba Fett based. This is gonna be Mando season 2. Weequay, which I don't know who that is. Rystal Sant, and then Corrin. So all just kind of random alien characters to populate your palace, which makes sense, I guess. But yeah, so that's just kind of where the information came from. Generally, that Bib Fortuna was going to be in this set, so it's going to be based off of Mando season 2, not Book of Boba Fett. Which again, I think that's a poor decision in my opinion. They probably could have waited and maybe just made another $100 Mando set. I don't know what they could have done. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. And then we also have yeah, actually I want to continue the conversation about the Boba Palace here. The build though, I forgot to mention this. The build will probably be good though, because the palace doesn't really change from Mando season 2 to the Book of Boba. So the build will probably be nice. It'll probably just be Jabba's palace, Boba's palace, whatever you want to call it now. So I'm pretty alright with that, and I'll probably still get this set, to be honest with you, because I do want Boba Fennec, Gamorrean guard. I wish it was 2, please. And you know the figures, whatever. Bib Fortuna will be fine to get. I just wish it was Book of Boba based. Maybe you could get Black Chrysanthemum. You could get the Nightwind Assassin. I don't know. It's like an enemy for the set. I don't know. 2 Gamorrean guards, definitely 2. I have some idea. I have an idea listed here that I'll get into next. But yeah, I don't know. The build will probably be okay, and fingers crossed for a Rancor build, a Rancor molded piece. That would be really nice. And then there's also going to be a $40 Book of Boba Fett set coming out in the summer, I believe. And I have heard some rumors. Again, I want to stress, whatever rumors said, grain of salt, vat of salt, nuts amounts of salt. I don't want to be feeding wrong information, so I'm just saying take it with a huge grain of salt. I could definitely be wrong, but I can also be right too. Well, not me, but the people that I've heard it from. So that $40 Book of Boba set might potentially be Mando's Naboo Starfighter. So if that ends up being true, it's going to be another Mandalorian thing for a set that is supposed to be based off of the Book of Boba, which technically it would be, but they couldn't do a Book of Boba related set. $40, I was originally thinking maybe they could do, as bad as this scene was in my opinion, They could have done the Major Domo chase. Get some new figures in there. Get those mod characters. Drash. What, I don't know what their names are. And then the Major Domo and like maybe Boba, or maybe even a flashback Boba moment. I'll have to keep adding some ideas to the list. I might actually do a video on all my ideas, my set ideas for Book of Boba episodes 1 through 7. But you might get a little sneak peek in this video for some of this stuff. But yeah, I don't know, just something that they could have done. Just perfect price for some pretty okay scenes for the show, and they decided to go with the or could potentially, again, grain of salt, decide to go with the Mando thing from the show. Not crazy about it again, but what are you gonna do? I guess. What are you gonna do? So, yeah, I'm not too happy about that. I'll probably still get the set. I'll be honest with you. I just wish it was actually a Book of Boba Fett set instead of a Mando set. So now I'm gonna move on to the next part. This is gonna be my ideas for the sets that they could have done for the Book of Boba Fett. So I'm just gonna do 2 here. Start off Boba's Palace. I would completely change it. Of course, keep the $100. Keep the build. Add a Rancor if it's not already a part of it. And this is my idea. Get Boba. Get Fennec. Same Boba and Fennec from the original one that they got here. 2 Gamorrean guards, please. And then that Order of the Nightwind Assassin character is just an enemy. As much as I didn't really care for that character, just be a good enemy for Boba to fight, I guess, for kids to have fun. I don't know. Black Chrysanthemum, 1000% needs to be in this set. And then I also threw in some other kind of like 3 sillier, not silly, but lesser known characters that I think could be nice to populate the palace. Populate the palace. Populate the palace. The Ratcatcher droid, because I thought he was really cute, and I liked his droid design from he was from Clone Wars, I think. Was the first time I ever saw him in the Blue Shadow Virus episode. Yeah, the Ratcatcher droid would be fun. Little like build, little character to have. And then I don't know this character's name, but I said the Danny Trejo Rancor Keeper. Throw him in there because the Rancor's got to be in this set. And then also the UK2B, I think his name was the droid, the torture droid from Return of the Jedi who would torture other droids. And then also the, I don't know, what would you call him? Like the telling Boba about the information about Tatooine, I guess, kind of droid. The tall, thin, skinny one, that guy, him. You could throw him in here too. And again, same Boba Fett Palace build, with like the stairs, the dining table, then the main throne room. That can stay the same, sure. That works perfectly. And then also throw in a Rancor build, mold, whatever they end up doing with it. Then for the $40 set, I also kind of got a quick idea for this one too. I said it could be a Pike's hover train, based off of my favorite episode of the Book of Boba Fett, episode 2, which was called The Tribes of Tatooine. And basically, what would be cool about this, I think, is the Boba Fett would be different, I think, which would be nice. You'd have a prisoner Boba, him in his white outfit. You actually get his face, you know what I mean? He can get a gaffy stick, whatever weapon he had. I believe it was a gaffy stick at that time. And then you could get the female Tusken Raider gaffy stick wielding Tusken Raider woman, who is really cool. Again, really love her character. And I hope she returns in Book of Boba. She will, I think. I'm pretty confident she will. If she doesn't, that would be a shame, but I'm pretty sure. And I think that'll be a great figure to get. Have some nice black robes, and then also the Tusken Raider head. I don't know how they would do the hood, but you know what? They're Lego. They can figure it out. I believe in them. And then just kind of like 2 Pike guards, 2 Pike Syndicate guards just to kind of fight them on the train. Maybe even more Pike Syndicate guards, and maybe even another Tusken Raider, because Boba did have a group of 3 Tusken Raiders and then himself as well. Maybe even the droid conductor, even, I don't know. Spitballing ideas here, spitballing. And then, of course, the build would be a hover train, the Tatooine hover train, Pike Syndicate thing. I would say the build is pretty similar, will probably be very similar to the Solo Cinderblock train build, which was not a great fun build. I don't personally have that set, and glad I don't. It doesn't look very appealing. But this one will probably be a little bit better, because I think people like the Book of Boba Fett a little bit more than Solo. Is that controversial? Is that a hot take? Could be. I'm not crazy about Solo personally, so maybe that's why I'm just kind of a bit ignorant to the movie. But yeah, you'd have a hover train very similar to that cinder block build, and then you would also have like a speeder bike, maybe as like a side build for the Tusken for Boba to fly in on to catch up to the train, just to have some fun. You know what I mean? That's really about it. That's all. That's you need. It's just kind of like what you need. You know what I mean? Maybe the next 2 episodes will get my juices flowing with some more information on some sets that they could do. Alright, this video has been going on long enough. I've been recording for like a solid hour currently. I'm a little tired. So, yeah, this is me closing out. I bet, tomorrow morning I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh man, I should have said that, but whatever. I'm pretty alright with what I got so far. So, yes, love the episode of Book of Boba episode 5 here. Wish it was a Mando episode. Wasn't. What am I gonna do about it? Nothing I can do about it. And yeah, I'm still hopeful for the rest of the season. And yeah, this is about it. So if you enjoyed that video, do the common YouTube stuff, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.